it is the 11th day of strikes here in France, and to some extent there's less disruption than there was at the beginning of this protest movement. I guess striking is having too big an impact on the pay packets of striking workers. You simply don't get paid when they go on strike and can't afford to continue. There are some challenges, though, for French people going to work this morning. For example, petrols. While I'm outside a petrol station, there are shortages, and notably in the Paris region. So in Paris this Monday morning, around 35% of petrol stations are experiencing some shortages. The one here behind me has run out of one type of fuel. Others are running dry. And in the greater Paris region, there's one département, one area, which has around 50% of petrol stations hit. So there are still oil refineries blocked, notably in Normandy, that supplies the French capital and the region. And they are planning to remain on strike until at least Monday. Having said that, there's also transport disruptions, although it's getting less bad, frankly, as the strike goes on. And some schools as well are closed. So a bit of travel chaos for the French, but a lot of people are getting on with their working day as this movement kind of grinds on.
Yeah, Catherine, a bit of a lull in the strike movement today. That comes as political negotiations are also at a bit of a standstill. Unions walked out of talks with the Prime Minister yesterday. What can we expect to happen next?
Well, the government and the unions are still at loggerheads. That was very much apparent yesterday, as those talks between the Prime Minister and the unions didn't even last for an hour before the unions walked out, saying there was no point. They wanted the government to bring down the retirement age. The French government wants to push it up to 64 from age 62. They said that wasn't on the table, so the unions walked out. So we're still having this kind of political crisis. We're expecting big demonstrations again in Paris and around France later this Thursday. And then going forward, basically, this very controversial pension reforms bill is now up before France's Constitutional Council. So the unions and all the protesters are waiting to see whether they will do anything, whether they will strike it down, whether they'll make amendments at all, or perhaps put it forward to a citizens' referendum. That's what protesters on the left want to see happen. So we're waiting until next Friday, the 14th of April, to see what the future of this bill will be. And meanwhile, big protests are again planned.